The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. This game brings so much impact on the Nintendo series. This is one of my favorite games of all time. Not to mention I played almost every Zelda game. Well, I played every 3D Zelda game, just not the 2D, like the pixel Zelda games. I'm not really a big fan of those Zelda games, but the current 3D Zelda games that we have now, like The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, all those, I absolutely beat all of them 100%. But my favorite game of all time has to be it's in between Ocarina of Time and Breath of the Wild. But for right now, it's on Breath of the Wild. Take the light, it take the shine for right now. Breath of the Wild is the first open world Zelda game, and with that game you could do a lot. And you get tons of weapons, tons of shield, tons of bow and arrow. You get fire arrow, ice arrow. You also get an what is it called? It's a guardian arrow, but I think I forgot the name of the arrow. Oh yeah, it's called the ancient arrow. You get that arrow, and with that arrow you can one shot kill any enemy with just the ancient arrow. Now those arrows you have to farm guardian parts and go to the Akala Tech Lab to buy them. So that game is legit one of my favorite Zelda games I ever played. In that game, your weapon break, but you also get the Master Sword from previous Zelda games. Now the Master Sword is not in the Legend of Zelda the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, because it is a sequel to Ocarina of Time, but you would expect the Master Sword to be in Majora's Mask right now. It's not in the game at all. But if you played The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, you know the Master Sword is in that game. Now, since all the weapons break in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, the only weapon that does not break is the Master Sword. Now, it goes on cooldown, so it's like the weapon's like it's breaking, but it's not. All it does is go on cooldown for like 10 or 13 minutes, I think. But I think it's 10 minutes. The Master Sword goes on a cooldown. Now with that, now I'm fine with that because like you got all the other weapons in the game and it breaks, but if the Master Sword never broke, that's the only sword I would be using, so it makes sense in terms of weapon breaking. Also, not only weapons break, you got shields that break and bow and arrows that break. So the shield that break, okay guys, if you wonder is the Hylian shield, okay, if you have not played The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, you play other Zelda games, the Hylian shield is in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and it breaks also, but it the Hylian shield barely often breaks. It stay like it never really breaks to be honest. Like you can keep the Hylian shield for a long lasting time. I had it break on me a couple of times, but it barely even breaks. Like it's the strongest shield in the game. And it's the most famous shield in the whole Zelda history. You get the Hylian shield in the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Um, not Wind Waker actually, but it's a shield similar to that. And Twilight Princess, and in the other previous Zelda games, I'm not gonna get into too much detail about that. But you also get other bows, like you get the night bow, you get the wooden bows, and they also break. I don't know if it's the strongest bow, but you also an ancient bow, which is pretty cool. You need to form guardian parts for that, which is in Hyrule. You can find guardians in Central Hyrule. Now I 100% it the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 3 times already. Now, I didn't really get all the corrections as that's not really that important, but I'm still getting all the corrections, and once I get all the corrections, then I'm gonna be officially done. But other than that, I 100% of the game, and the corrections the only thing I need to get. Not too many people cares about the corrections, but yeah, like who really cares about the corrections to be honest? All they do is give you weapon stats, and what I mean by weapon stats, cause that's what it called when you collect the Korok seed. You take it to Korok Village, I think what it's called, Korok Forest. That's what it's called. You give it to the person that wants the Korok seeds. I forgot his name. Sorry about that. But you give him the Korok seeds, and you get like more slots so you can hold more weapons. I mean, it's pretty neat, but there's too much Korok seeds. Hopefully in Breath of the Wild 2, we don't have to collect core seeds, and if we do, hope we only get to collect like 50 or 100, because it's a little bit too much, don't you think? Now, the rain in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is super annoying, and I thought they was gonna make a patch for that, or at least, yeah, at least that was the least they could have done. But I guess it was meant to be in the game. Now, I am complaining. I would say I'm not complaining. It legit sound like I am complaining because I am. It rains way too much, and it's ridiculous. That's the only thing I really hate within that game is the rain. Cause you might be saying why you hate the rain so much? Because if it rains, you cannot climb anything. Like you climb 4 times. After you climb like 4 times, Link falls off, and that's shit. So yeah, the rain. I want to see rain in Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild: Tears of the Kingdom, which is the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. We don't have to call it Breath of the Wild 2 because Nintendo gave us the official name for Breath of the Wild, the sequel, which is the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I want to see rain in that game, but I don't want to be raining all the time like it did in this Breath of the Wild. So yeah, that's what I want to see. This new and this change. Less rain. They should have made it patch, but I guess so. I guess they could have kept it in the game. Now, on the on side of that, we're gonna talk about the Divine Beast. Okay, there was 4 champions that died 100 years ago before Link got resurrected, and before he was fighting 100 years ago. Because 100 years ago is when all 4 champions died, including Zelda that died right along with the champions, the 4 champions. And the 4 champions I'm talking about is Mifa, Rivali, Urbosa, and Daruk, which is the Goron. Urbosa is the Gerudo, Rivali is the Rito, and Mifa is the Zora. If you play other Zelda games, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Those other 5 Zelda races, let me see. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me see. Rivali, Daruk, Urbosa, Mifa, yeah, 4 I meant to say. Sorry about that. And if you played the game Breath of the Wild, you know there's 4 divine beasts, and those are the main like dungeons. Like, cause you know in previous other game we have like full out temples, and those temples, you know, at the end of the temple we gotta fight a big old boss. And in this game we gotta fight after after defeating or taking down the divine beast, we get to fight again an enemy. Each 4 divine beasts have 4 Ganon enemies, and you gotta take them down. And it's really easy, and it's too easy to be honest. And it don't really feel like a temple to me. What I want to see in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, or The Legend of the Tears of the Kingdom is I want to like adventure underwater, cause we can't go underwater, but we can swim on top of water. We can see what's like under the water, but we can't go down there. I want to see like water temples, and in the Legend of the Tears of the Kingdom, as you've seen in the trailer, we're gonna be taking adventures up in the sky like the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. If you haven't played that game, the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild referenced the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword the most, but it referenced all Zelda games, but it referenced Skyward Sword the most, and it actually have sound effects from Skyward Sword, like the sound of Fi or Fi in the Master Sword. The Master Sword sound that was in Skyward Sword was also in one of the memories 100 years ago in Breath of the Wild. So, yeah, I hope Breath of the Wild 2 really have, well, Breath of the Wild Tears of the Kingdom really have dungeons instead of shrines, because in Breath of the Wild, we took on all 120. Well, I took on all 120 shrines. I mean, I could let's play Breath of the Wild if you guys want to see that 100%. But I essentially 100% the game took on 120 shrines, and hopefully in Breath of the Wild, the Legend of Tears of the Kingdom, we don't have to do that anymore, and we have like full-on temples like we had in previous other games. I think that make that game stand out more. And this game been delayed so many times. So I know this game is gonna be good. It might even be perfect. Or it might just have a little flaws like this game has. My biggest flaws that this game have is the rain. It's just ridiculous. But guys, if you liked my thoughts on the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, then make sure you guys smash the like button and even consider subscribing. Make sure you guys comment down below too. And I'm Link Gaming, and I'll be out.